Okay, welcome in. So what I want to do is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I haven't had the chance, but it just so happened that I flukily came across a bunch of pictures. This was probably a couple of weeks ago now, and I just want the quarterback carousel that the Denver Broncos have had to endure since Peyton Manning retired at the end of the 2015-16 season. Now we're obviously in 2025, and the quarterback of the future for the Broncos is clearly Bo Nix. So heading into the 2016-17 season, Trevor Siemian was the man under center. Brock Osweiler did leave and played one season in Houston, and then his career kind of went downhill after that. So Trevor Siemian spent 2 years in Denver. Sorry, 2 years as a starter. And in the 15-16 season, he was obviously the third string quarterback between Manning and Osweiler, respectively. So he did leave them to a 9-7 record in his first year as the Broncos QB. He would share the reign with Paxton Lynch, who they drafted in the 2016 NFL draft. So you can see on the screen, Trevor Siemian would finish with 24 starts with the Denver Broncos. Paxton Lynch, as I just previously mentioned, he only had 4 starts in the 2 seasons that he was there at their quarterback, and there was such high hope and high praise that this guy could have taken over the reins and been the quarterback of the future, but evidently it did not work out. I'm actually going to scroll back just so you can see there is Brock Osweiler. The reason I do have him on the list, you can see he was with the Broncos from 2012 to 15. Then he came back in the 2017-18 season. After the 2016-17 season, the Texans got rid of him. I'm pretty sure he signed or was traded to Cleveland, but they didn't want him. And then the Broncos are like, well, if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to. He played a couple more games, didn't fare out that great. I'm pretty sure he only played one more season after that with the Dolphins. And then after that, he was out of the league entirely. So a very short career for a guy who could have been the starting quarterback for Denver moving forward. And if you think about it, once Manning retired, he would have been the guy under center because during the 2015-16 season, he took over as the starting quarterback once Peyton Manning was down with the injury. And they pretty much brought a lot of players back the following season after their Super Bowl run. And they even had Coach Kubiak have one more season under center. And he seemed to have a bit of a connection with Kubiak when he had his 4 or 5 starts, if not mistaken, during the 2015-16 season. So who knows how this team could have looked had Osweiler stuck around. So I'm just going to scroll back over. So Siemian did leave, I believe, in free agency in the 2018-19 season. I'm pretty sure he played as a backup for Minnesota. As I previously said, Paxton Lynch was out of the league after those 2 years. Speaking of Minnesota, after the 2017-18 season, the Broncos weren't too sure as to who they were going to draft. Now, there's all sorts of speculation that they could have taken Josh Allen at QB, and imagine how much better this team could have been had they drafted him. But there's a lot of what ifs, but there's never anything that you can say, well, it could happen. No, it can't, because it's in the past. So the big splash for them was getting Case Keenum out of Minnesota. And with all due respect, he had a fantastic 2017-18 season with the Vikings, not only leading them to a division title, but he would help propel this team into an NFC Championship game against the Eagles. But unfortunately, it did not pan out in that game, and Minnesota went in a different direction. I'm pretty sure they signed Kirk Cousins in that offseason. So therefore, Case Keenum was a free agent, played all 16 starts. In his only season with Denver, they missed out on the playoffs, and then after one season, he found himself out of the Mile High City. So in the 2019 offseason, they would sign Joe Flacco. It seemed to me like John Elway, obviously a very good quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, he was just looking for a veteran QB to bring in and help get this team back into a postseason. Now, I'll give him credit when credit is due because he hit a home run when he signed Peyton Manning in the 2012 offseason. But after that, like I said, Case Keenum Didn't work out. Joe Flacco, you can see he only had 8 starts with the Broncos. After one season, he was out of the league. And I'm pretty sure in the 2019 draft, they drafted Drew Lock. There he is. He would play 3 seasons, 2019-20, 2020-21, and 2021-22. He would have 21 starts in those 3 seasons. A lot of people thought he was a bit of a bust, and after he left Denver, I'm pretty sure he was in Seattle for a couple of seasons, and then I'm pretty sure he played for the New York Giants this past season. So he's kind of bounced around the league since leaving Denver in 2022. And they'd also have Brandon Allen in the 2019-20 season. He would have 3 starts under center. Jeff Driscoll had 1 start in the 2020-21 season. Brett Rippon played 3 seasons, 2020-21, 21-22, and then 22-23, with the Denver Broncos having 3 starts. Kendall Hinton, now you may think, who is this guy? He only played 1 game for the Denver Broncos, and that was in the 2020-21 season. And I'm pretty sure like Rippon, Locke, and Allen, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 guys tested positive for COVID, and therefore they needed a QB. And Kendall Hinton was the guy that they got to play, but he didn't even throw the ball. They literally just ran the ball the entire game. I'm pretty sure they lost that as well. So in his only start at the quarterback position, he didn't even throw the ball, which is kind of ironic because it's not the job of a quarterback is to throw the ball. Anyways, so in the 2021 offseason, they would sign Teddy Bridgewater. He would play 14 games with the Broncos. He went down, I believe, in their Week 15 matchup, if I'm not mistaken, with the injury. And it's too bad because I'm pretty sure they were 7-7 at that time. And had they won out their last 2 games, they could have finished 9-7 and possibly ended their playoff drought that year. But because Bridgewater got hurt, Locke came back in. He wasn't able to help get any wins in the last 2 games, respectively. And then after one season, Bridgewater was out of the Mile High City. So the big thing for 2022 offseason was the trade for Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks. He had 30 starts with Denver, and he didn't have an above 500 record in the 2 seasons that he was there. The one thing that really bothered me with the signing or the trade with Russell Wilson was that we immediately gave him like a $200 million extension, which the reason it was troubling was because for 2 reasons. One, he was still under contract for the 2022-23 season, so it's not like they had to sign him then and there. And then the other thing was paying all that money before he even suited up for a preseason game. That's the part that really bothered me the most. Let him play a couple of games, see how he is, see how he's fitting in with a new team, and obviously a new role, new quarterback coach, and all this other stuff. But the fact that they paid him a lot of money and they're still paying him to this day to not be on the team. I'm pretty sure they have, going into this upcoming 2025-26 season, they still owe him for the contract that he signed back in 2022. So there's like $200 million worth of dead cap money that they can't spend on anybody. So essentially, Russell Wilson's getting paid to not play in Denver. So that was the big thing that really bothered me about that. And obviously it didn't pan out for Wilson. And now he played this past season with Pittsburgh, and there's speculation he could reunite with Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. So if he ends up staying in the AFC West, I'm sure he would love nothing more than to defeat the team that signed him and then cut him loose. All right, so then after obviously Russell Wilson era, which was only 2 seasons, thank God, then they drafted Bo Nix in last year's NFL draft, and then he went on to have a spectacular rookie year, leading the Broncos to not only an above 500 record, but to the postseason, which ended an 8-year drought or a 9-year drought at that point. So I'm very excited that Bo Nix is the quarterback for this team moving forward. I can't wait to see what he brings in year number 2. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to go through the quarterback carousel. As you can see, they went through quite a bit of quarterbacks. I'll just scroll back here again. So they went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quarterbacks since Peyton Manning retired at the end of 2016. So it's hard to believe that a team went through that many QBs and still weren't able to have any success. And like I said, the only time they had an above 500 record was when the man you see on your screen now led them to a 9-7 record in his first year as a starter in 2016-17, finishing one game out of a playoff spot, because I'm pretty sure the Dolphins got the 6th seed at that time with a 10-6 record. All right, that's going to take care of this video. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.